All right, let's talk about maintenance for a second. For most businesses, it's just that thing you have to do, right? It's a line item on the budget, a cost you're always trying to shrink, and if we're being honest, it's kind of boring. But what if that whole way of thinking is completely wrong?
What if, as the book Uptime points out, looking at maintenance as a necessary evil is actually the single biggest thing holding your company back from achieving real excellence?
And this is the core idea we're going to unpack here. It's a massive shift in perspective. On one side, you've got the old way, reactive, a cost center, constantly just putting out fires. But on the other side, there's a totally new view, proactive, an investment, and get this, a competitive weapon. Okay, let's dive into how that works.
So a weapon. How? Well, the top-performing companies have cracked the code. They get that they aren't just in the business of fixing stuff when it breaks. No, they're in the business of investing in reliability to absolutely guarantee their productive capacity.
You know, the book Uptime uses a really simple but perfect analogy for this. Your car. You can do the small, regular checks, oil changes, checking the tire pressure, to prevent a massive, scary, and unbelievably expensive breakdown on the side of the highway. One is a tiny investment. The other is a total catastrophe. Let's actually put some numbers on that. Imagine a perfectly planned, scheduled maintenance job. Everything is ready to go, parts are there, the team's prepared, it's super efficient. Let's call that our baseline cost, or 1x.
But what happens when you skip that and just wait for the breakdown? Well, studies cited in the book show that emergency work costs, at a bare minimum, 3 times as much, and that's just the start. In some industries, like mining, that number can shoot up to 5, 9, even 14 times the cost. You're not just paying for the fix, you're literally paying for chaos. I mean, that cost difference is just staggering, right? So the big question is, how do you actually make that leap? How do you get from that expensive, chaotic, reactive world to this proactive, uptime philosophy?
Well, the book breaks it down into 3 core pillars that hold this whole strategy up. It's not just one magic bullet. It's about getting a combination of things right. It's about your people, your processes, and your data. Let's start with people. The book uses this great quote from Michael Jordan, and it just makes the point perfectly. Sure, talent wins games. You can have the most skilled technicians in the world. But it's teamwork and intelligence that wins championships. If they're not working together as a smart, collaborative team, you're just not going to win.
And that teamwork is facing this huge, huge challenge right now. We've got a whole generation of super skilled workers retiring, and they're taking decades of unwritten tribal knowledge right out the door with them. And at the same time, there just aren't enough new folks entering the trades to fill that void. That's a massive risk for any business.
So how do you fix it? You build flexibility and resilience right into your teams. You invest in multi-skilling so people can cover for each other and understand the bigger picture. You empower those teams to make decisions on the ground. And crucially, you commit to continuous training, making sure that knowledge isn't just stuck in one person's head, but is always being shared and updated. Okay, let's move to pillar number 2, process. A key concept here is something called reliability-centered maintenance, or RCM. Now, the goal here isn't just to fix a piece of equipment, it's to make sure the function of that equipment keeps doing what the business needs it to do. It's a subtle change in focus, but it's incredibly powerful. And a really practical, hands-on tool that supports this is the 5S methodology: sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. Now, this isn't just about being neat and tidy. It's a whole system for creating a work environment where that proactive, planned work can actually happen smoothly, instead of getting bogged down in chaos and clutter. And that brings us to the 3rd pillar, which is where this strategy gets truly powerful in the modern world: data. This is all about moving away from decisions based on gut feelings or, the way we've always done it, and shifting to a strategy that is driven by cold, hard evidence. This is where we get to the new gold standard, evidence-based asset management, or EBAM. It's about using good data, statistical modeling, and optimization tools to make incredibly precise decisions. When's the exact right time to replace a part for the lowest possible cost? How often should you inspect a system to perfectly balance risk and expense? The data has the answers. So when you bring these 3 pillars together, your people, your processes, and your data, you're not really just talking about maintenance anymore. You've leveled up to a much bigger, much more strategic idea: the world of asset management. Asset management is the 30,000-foot view. It's about managing the entire life cycle of your physical assets, from the moment they're designed all the way to the day they're decommissioned. It's a system for constantly balancing cost, risk, and performance to make sure that every single physical part of your company is directly pushing your main business goals forward. So, bringing this all home, what we see is that adopting this uptime philosophy, well, it's not a one-and-done project with a finish line. It's really a continuous journey, always pushing toward excellence. I love this quote from Colin Powell that the book uses to wrap this idea up. Excellence is not an exception, it is a prevailing attitude. That just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's about weaving these principles into the very culture of an organization until they become second nature. And this, right here, is the biggest takeaway. This isn't just a philosophy for factories or airlines, it's a mindset. It's a mindset of proactive excellence. It's about looking at the systems all around you, spotting where they could fail, and investing a little bit of effort up front to prevent a massive disaster down the road. So that leaves us with one final question to think about. What are the so-called necessary evils in your world, maybe in your job or even just in your life, that are actually hidden opportunities in disguise? Where can you apply this uptime mindset to turn a cost center into your own secret weapon for excellence?